I was married to an incredible woman, Chloe, and we had a beautiful 6-year-old daughter, Lily. Chloe, as we all called her, and I met during my senior year of college. She was a junior, and we just clicked. A month after her graduation, we were married. My engineering degree landed me a solid job at a national firm, while Chloe started as a legal assistant at a downtown law firm. 2 years later, when Lily was born, Chloe decided, and I agreed, that being a full-time mom was the way to go. Life felt like a dream until Lily started kindergarten. That's when Chloe announced she wanted to go back to her old job. Looking back, the red flags were waving like crazy. But I was too caught up in my own little bubble. I truly believed Chloe loved me as much as I loved her. Man, was I wrong. When she went back to work, things changed. Her wardrobe, for instance. Suddenly it was all a bit more noticeable. Our bed life, once pretty active, just fizzled out. She started working later and later. "Chloe, another late one?" I'd ask, trying to keep the concern out of my voice. "Big case, Mike. Deadline," she'd say, barely looking up from her phone. "But what about Lily? And, us?" She'd sigh, a little impatiently. "I'm working with Victor Sterling, one of the senior partners. This is a huge opportunity, Mike. It's for our future. It'll help us financially, you'll see." A few months before everything blew up, I met him, Victor Sterling, at the firm's Christmas party. Didn't like him from the get-go. He had this arrogant air, barely gave me the time of day. I watched them, Chloe and him, pretty closely that night, but they were careful. Nothing obvious. If something was going on, they were pros at hiding it, but it was there. I just couldn't pinpoint it yet. It all came crashing down as Lily's kindergarten year ended. She was supposed to spend the weekend with my parents, a little getaway for her, and a chance for Chloe and me to reconnect. I was really looking forward to it, hoping to get that spark back. I planned a nice dinner, a movie at home. Just us. After dropping Lily off, I headed home, picturing a quiet evening. But as I walked into the kitchen, I saw Chloe coming down the stairs. She was in a short, elegant dress, high heels, hair perfectly curled, makeup flawless, like she was heading to a gala. "Wow, babe," I said, genuinely stunned. "You look incredible. Wish you'd told me we were going out. Give me a few minutes, I'll get ready." "Where are we headed?" She smirked. Not her usual smile, but something cold, unfamiliar. It made my stomach clench. "Oh, we're not going anywhere, Mike," she replied, her voice smooth. "I'm going out, but not with you." I just froze. What? What are you saying?" "I have a date," she said, casual as anything. "And this is just the beginning. Starting today, new rules." She paused, letting it sink in. "My boss is picking me up. I won't be home tonight. I've booked a room downtown." Her words hit me like a physical blow. "What the heck are you talking about?" I demanded, my voice finally finding its strength, rising with disbelief. "You need to calm down, Mike, and accept it," she said, her tone icy, matter of fact. "This is how it's going to be. I'll be home sometime Sunday." "Like hell you will," I shouted. "If you walk out that door, don't even think about coming back." She didn't even flinch. "No, Mike, I will be coming back. This is our home. We're staying married. I'll live here and so will you. You need to understand. I still love you, but I need more. If you make this difficult, you're the one who won't be living here anymore. And trust me," her voice dropped menacing, "you don't want to end up penniless and in jail. It wouldn't be good for Lily to lose her father, would it?" Her words were like daggers. I was stunned, furious, speechless. Just as I was about to explode, the doorbell rang. She practically ran to answer it, letting Victor Sterling into our house. "How'd he take it?" Victor asked her, a smug look on his face. Chloe glanced back at me. "Not well. I think you need to explain the consequences of noncompliance." Victor Sterling wasn't a big guy, about my size, maybe a bit shorter. He turned to me. "Mr. Vance," he began, "I believe we need to have a conversation." "Conversation?" I seethed, clenching my fists. "What I need is to throw you out of my damn house." "You're welcome to try," he said with that same infuriating smirk. "From the looks of it, you might get a few good hits in before my driver steps in and puts an end to it. By the end of the evening, you'd be in jail, so why don't you sit down and listen instead?" I glanced past him. Sure enough, a large, imposing man was standing on the doorstep. The odds weren't in my favor. Muttering under my breath, I reluctantly sank onto the sofa. "Good," Victor said, his tone oozing superiority. "Now we can have a civilized discussion." When your wife agreed to become my personal assistant, she took on additional responsibilities, including meeting my personal needs. Yes, he paused for effect. I'm referring to a sexual relationship. We've been involved for about 6 months. Chloe's grown tired of sneaking around. So, here's how it's going to work. You and your wife will remain married. Your role as husband and father remains largely unchanged, except for one aspect. I will be the one meeting Chloe's intimate needs. Most of the time, this will be at the office or a hotel, but on occasion when you're not home, we may use your bedroom. My anger boiled over. I shot to my feet. This is outrageous. I will not accept this. I'll divorce her for infidelity. Mr. Vance, Victor said smoothly, his voice calm but heavy with threat. That kind of talk isn't productive. You seem to be forgetting what business I'm in. I'm a high-powered attorney at this city's most prestigious law firm. I have considerable influence. If you pursue a divorce, you'll face severe consequences, and not just in the courtroom. Oh, we'll take everything from you, of course. Your home, savings, you'll still pay alimony while Chloe continues her relationship with me. But that's not all. He leaned in slightly. That precious little daughter you adore? You won't see her again. I'll ensure you're accused of child offense. The charges will ruin you. You'll serve time. Even after release, no visitation. Your employer will fire you immediately. Reputation destroyed. Family, friends, they'll abandon you. You'll be left with absolutely nothing. I just sat there, paralyzed. He knew he had me. Victor leaned forward, his expression cold, calculating. Now, I trust you won't do anything foolish. Tell my wife. Tell anyone else about this arrangement, and you'll face everything I just described, plus a little visit from my driver and his associates. Think you can just skip town? We'll track you down. So, be a good man. Accept this new dynamic. He straightened up, a vile smile playing on his lips. Your wife is an exceptional assistant, he added, his voice dripping with malice. Then moving closer, he whispered right in my ear, and she gives the best BJs. I was too stunned to move as Chloe walked out the door with him, her boss, her lover. My world had just imploded. I didn't know what else to do. I drank heavily. I woke up Saturday morning, alone, hungover, a knot of dread in my stomach. Chloe didn't come home that day or Sunday morning. Later, picking Lily up from my parents, it took every ounce of strength not to break down. As we drove home, Lily looked at me, her eyes wide and innocent. Daddy, where's Mommy? The words I wanted to scream. Mommy's betrayed us, sweetie. She's become someone awful. Burned in my throat. I forced a smile. Mommy had to work, sweetie, I managed. The disappointment on her face was like a physical blow. When Chloe finally strolled in on Sunday night, I was asleep in the guest room. Thankfully, she didn't come in. I don't know if I could have stayed composed. The next morning, I was up early, getting Lily ready for school. When Chloe appeared, she barely spoke to me, all her attention on Lily. As we headed for the door, Chloe kissed Lily goodbye, then made a move like she was going to kiss me. I just turned and walked out. That evening, after Chloe put Lily to bed, she stormed down to the basement, my makeshift man cave where I'd retreated. Are we going to have a problem, Mike? She asked sharply, hands on her hips. When you say we, I replied, my voice cold. Are you referring to me having an issue with you spending the weekend screwing your boss? Is that the problem you mean? She stood her ground. Look, I didn't plan for this to happen, she said, a defensive edge to her voice. It started innocently. Victor and I sharing morning coffee. He liked the special creamer I bring to work. I'm sure he was eager to share some of his own special creamer, I shot back, disgust lacing my words. Don't be crude, Mike, she snapped. Victor is a very persuasive man. You know how I've always said I don't like sushi? Truth is, I'd never tried it. Victor convinced me. Said it was an incredible aphrodisiac. The first time I tried it was also the first time he and I were intimate. She paused, then continued almost defiantly. I'm sorry, Mike, but it was good. He promised me a promotion to his personal assistant. Think about the benefits I'm earning significantly more. I'll get to travel with Victor, meet influential people. This arrangement will be good for us in the long run. She then added, as if it were an afterthought, oh, and Victor even said you could be intimate with me again. Under certain conditions. Oh God, I can't wait to hear this, I said, sarcasm dripping. You can only have sex with me after Victor has been with me, Chloe said, her tone almost apologetic. He insists. It must be after he's left his mark. And according to him, that's going to happen often. Wow, I replied, my voice thick with sarcasm. So Victor is graciously allowing me the privilege of sloppy seconds with his willing participant. How incredibly generous. You can't talk to me like that, Mike, she snapped. You need to get on board with this. It's not permanent, 2 or 3 years at most. Afterward, we'll be in an excellent position for our future together. You actually believe this crap, don't you? I said, incredulous. In your little fantasy world, once the great Victor is finished with you, I'm just supposed to pick up the pieces and we grow old together? What happens when your precious Victor decides he wants to put a baby in you and expects me to raise it? Chloe lowered her head, avoiding my eyes. Oh no, I said, a cold dread creeping in. You're not already pregnant, are you? No, she said quickly. But he has mentioned wanting me to stop taking the pill in a few months. I told him I wanted you to be on board with the new arrangement before we took that step. I can't believe this, I muttered, shaking my head. Get out of my sight. Chloe paused at the top of the stairs, turned back. I'll be in our bed, waiting. Once I stop taking the pill, I won't be available to you until, well, that was too much. She had to understand I would never go along with this. I moved into the guest room permanently, spending more time in the basement. For Lily's sake, I tried to keep up appearances. Over the next week, I started researching Victor Sterling. His claims of power weren't exaggerated. Deep connections, ruthless reputation. I found a divorce lawyer. Her assessment was grim. Mr. Vance, she said, her face serious, pursuing a divorce against someone like Victor Sterling. He's notorious. He would fabricate allegations of child molestation. I've seen him do worse. Divorce right now isn't a viable option if you want to protect yourself and your access to Lily. She did offer a sliver of hope. Gather evidence. If you could record a conversation where they explicitly discuss their intentions, their plan against you, it might give us leverage, but even then, it's an uphill battle. She suggested a discreet voice-activated recorder hidden in Chloe's belongings. So I bought a recorder disguised as a pen, slipped it into a small pocket in Chloe's purse, among other pens. A long shot, but what else could I do? Legal options seemed exhausted. I needed something unconventional. To avoid a digital trail, I used the library's public computers. Crime shows taught me that much. Hours of searching led me to an extreme idea. Drastic, uncertain, something I'd never imagined considering. But desperation is a powerful motivator. 3 hours away, I found a small, shady-looking Oriental supply store. Old hat, sunglasses, sweats. I tried to be unrecognizable. The store was empty, except for an elderly man behind the counter. Approaching him, I kept my voice low. I'm looking for tetrodotoxin and dimethylmercury. The old man studied me, then a knowing, almost imperceptible smile touched his lips. Ah, trouble with the cheating wife? I managed a faint, grim smile. Do you have what I need? I do, not cheap, he replied. 1,500, cash only. I assume you want no record. I'd brought 2,000, anticipating this. I counted out the cash. He nodded, disappeared into a back room, and returned with a small paper bag. 2 vials. Handle carefully, he instructed. Small amount over time. Achieves the desired effect. He added 2 syringes to the bag. These will help. Don't let it touch your skin. Best mixed into a liquid. I took the bag, got back to my car, heart pounding. Tetrodotoxin from fugu fish, dimethylmercury related to mercury, both lethal, slow-acting, hard to trace. The cause could look like contaminated seafood. Bad sushi, perhaps. The beauty of my plan was its delivery. Chloe herself. She kept her special creamer at home, taking a new bottle to work when needed. Months ago, I'd asked why she didn't just keep it all at the office. She'd said she was afraid someone would steal her little indulgence. Now I knew. It was her special treat with Victor. The creamer, non-dairy, shelf-stable, was stored in a case in our pantry. The case was open, 11 bottles inside. I took one out. The cap wasn't tamper-proof, but sealed with paper and foil underneath. I started with the tetrodotoxin just to be safe with the process. Dimethylmercury was far more dangerous on contact. Filling a syringe, I gently inserted the thin needle into the seal's edge, slowly injecting the liquid, careful to leave no trace. It looked untouched. Reassured, I did the other 10. Then, with extreme caution, I repeated the process with the dimethylmercury, injecting the second toxin into each bottle. All 11 bottles prepared. 2 weeks later, 1 bottle was missing. 10 left. My conscience screamed. Had I gone too far? But Chloe's behavior quickly silenced any doubts. That Thursday night, sushi night, she called it, their late-night tryst. Lily and I had dinner alone. I tucked her in, then retreated to the basement. Chloe came down, that familiar air of entitlement. If you want any Zex, you've got 1 month, she declared. Victor's decided I'm going off the pill in 4 weeks. After that, no access for you. Anger surged. Let me get this straight. You're offering me a brief window to sleep with my own wife before you try to conceive a child with your boss? How generous, I said through clenched teeth. Wasn't the rule that I couldn't touch you unless you were already carrying his filth inside you? She smirked. That's right, and don't call it that. I've told you how much I hate that word. Then I'll pass, I snapped. I wouldn't touch you, filth or no filth. Suit yourself, she said smugly. I'll be upstairs, in our bed. It's been a while. She turned and walked away. You wouldn't recognize love if it bit you on the a-hole, I muttered as she left. Some might say I went too far, that divorce was the answer. But with the threats against Lily, my freedom, I saw this as self-preservation. Morally reprehensible? Absolutely. But they backed me into a corner. A week later, 9 bottles left. A month after that, the first signs. I watched Chloe closely. Her complexion grew paler. At dinner, she kept flexing her fingers, wringing her hands. Everything okay, Chloe? I asked, feigning concern. I don't know, she said, her voice uncertain. My fingers feel numb, like when your hand falls asleep. It's been happening for about a week, and I've been a bit out of breath. Probably nothing, I said lightly. Just stress. Anything at work? Causing tension? Her expression hardened, a faint sneer. No, nothing wrong at work. Everything's great. I'm sure it's just stress. 2 weeks later, 8 bottles. They must be chugging that coffee, I thought grimly. Her symptoms were more pronounced. Body aches, worse shortness of breath, her skin ashen. Thursday evening, she came home early. What are you doing here, Chloe? I asked, sarcasm heavy in my voice. Isn't it sushi night? Not feeling great, she said. Neither is Victor. We decided not to work late. Well, that's poor timing, isn't it? I said. You know, that big project you and Victor were supposed to start? Hard to deliver that package if you're both sick. Chloe stepped closer, voice low so Lily wouldn't hear. Don't be a jerk in front of our daughter. I'm going to lie down after dinner. Later, as I took Lily to her room, I heard Chloe throwing up in our bathroom. I hesitated, then opened the door. Please tell me you're not already pregnant, I said quietly. Screw you, she snapped, her voice weak. No way I'm pregnant yet. I just went off the pill last week. You could show some compassion, you know. I'm really sick here. Compassion? I scoffed. That's rich, coming from you. I'm your wife, Mike. You need to show your wife some respect and compassion. No, I cut her off sharply. My wife died when she went to work for that asshole. She was replaced by someone I have no respect for. If you think you'll get any compassion, respect, or even kindness from me, you're mistaken. I turned and walked out, leaving her hunched over the toilet. Friday morning, Chloe was still in bed when I left to take Lily to daycare. I didn't check on her. Didn't care. Around noon, my phone rang. Chloe. What do you want? I answered flatly. I need you to take me to the hospital, she said, her voice strained. What's wrong? I'm sick, but it's not me. It's Victor. He's had a stroke. I couldn't help it. A harsh laugh escaped me. Are you seriously asking me to take you to see your lover in the hospital? Please, Mike, this isn't funny. They said he could die. Figuring it might look suspicious if I refused, I took the afternoon off. When I got home, Chloe looked like death warmed over. I helped her into the car. I actually whistled on the way to the hospital. She called me every name in the book. I didn't care. At the hospital, we ran into Victor's wife and Daniel Crane, one of the senior partners. Crane quickly pulled Chloe aside. Chloe, he hissed, do you really think you should be here? His wife is right there. Ignoring me standing beside her, Chloe pleaded, Mr. Crane, I need to know how he is. I need to see him. Crane ushered us aside, keeping me close. You look awful, Chloe. It's not looking good for Victor. Left side's paralyzed. Doctors say his organs are shutting down. They don't know what's happening. If they can't stop it, he won't make it through the weekend. Chloe burst into tears. Please, Mr. Crane, I have to see him. Can you distract his wife? Crane managed to huddle with Victor's wife and family while I, unbelievably, escorted Chloe to see her lover. Victor looked terrible, left side of his face drooping, awake but unable to speak. Chloe rushed to his side. I stood by the door, feeling sick watching her hug and kiss him, with me right there. She was sobbing hysterically when a nurse came in and gently told her to leave. The nurse helped her out, leaving just Victor and me. His eyes widened when he recognized me. He tried to speak, but only garbled sounds came out. "Victor," I said, my voice cold as ice, "you're going to die soon. Before you do, I want you to know, I didn't take your advice. I didn't accept your new relationship. Don't worry, I'm going to tell your wife everything you did. With me, with my wife. Once you're dead, just know before you die, I did this to you. And there's nothing you can do to stop it." Alarms started blaring on his machines. Nurses and doctors rushed in as I calmly stepped out. They kept him alive through the weekend. He died early Monday. Chloe was a wreck. Her own health was visibly declining. I picked Lily up from daycare that Monday and found Chloe still in bed. She confirmed Victor was gone. "I guess you're going to gloat now," she said bitterly, her voice weak. "No, Chloe," I replied. "I'm not going to gloat, but I'm not pretending I'm upset he's dead either. That man destroyed our marriage. He deserved what he got." "Our marriage isn't dead," she rasped. "I can't believe you're so cruel about Victor." "Nothing I had with him diminished my love for you. I told you it was a means to an end to make us secure. You knew I'd come back to you." "No, Chloe, you're delusional. Our marriage is as dead as your lover. Did you forget I was in the room when you rushed to Victor, professing your love, hugging and kissing him with your husband standing right there?" She sobbed harder. I turned and left. By the end of that week, her condition was so bad I had to take her to the hospital on Friday. Saturday morning, her doctor met with me. "Mr. Vance, your wife's organs are shutting down. Her blood shows dangerously high levels of mercury and another toxin, often found in certain fish. Does she eat a lot of seafood? Maybe sushi?" I fought to keep my expression neutral. "Yes, doctor. She and her boyfriend have been eating a lot of sushi these past few months." "Boyfriend?" the doctor asked, surprised. "I'm sure you're familiar with him. Victor Sterling, the man who passed away here on Monday. He and my wife were having an affair." "That explains a lot," the doctor murmured. "Even with his stroke, her symptoms are alarmingly similar to Mr. Sterling's. Unfortunately, her condition is critical. Kidneys failed this morning. It's only a matter of time now." He led me to her room. Chloe was hooked up to a dozen machines, looking frail, so weak. Her eyes brightened a fraction when I entered. She weakly gestured for me to come closer. Her breathing was shallow. She motioned for me to lean in. "I'm so sorry, Mike," she whispered, struggling for each word. "I see now how badly I hurt you. Doctor told me not much time. Need to hear you forgive me before I go." I leaned very close to her ear. She managed a faint, hopeful smile as I began to speak, my voice soft. "My dear wife, I pledged my undying love to you when we exchanged our vows. For better or worse, in sickness and in health," I said. "And you pledged your love and faithfulness to me. You broke those vows. You belittled me, humiliated me. I will never forgive you for what you did to me, to our family. I hope you and your lover burn in hell together." I stood up. A single tear tracked down her cheek. I watched it fall, then walked out of the room just as the alarms on her monitors began to shriek. Less than an hour later, she was declared dead. Telling Lily her mother wasn't coming home was the hardest thing I've ever done. I cried for Lily, not for Chloe. Chloe tried to destroy my life. I just beat her to it. The doctors officially put it down to complications from suspected food poisoning, likely contaminated seafood, given the similar symptoms, and shared meals with Victor. When Chloe's body was released, I was told no autopsy was deemed necessary, no police investigation. I destroyed the remaining creamer bottles and the toxin vials. I even retrieved the quarter-full bottle from Chloe's office when I cleared her things. I had her cremated. Her parents objected on religious grounds. I didn't care. I wanted her body and any lingering trace gone. You'd think I'd be satisfied. But I wasn't done. I had the recordings from that pen. My first visit was to Eleanor Sterling, Victor's widow. I wanted to know if she knew. I suspected she did. Victor had been too brazen. When she invited me in, I discreetly turned on my pocket recorder. "Mrs. Sterling," I began, "I came to talk to you about your husband. and my wife. She held up a hand. You can stop right there, Mr. Vance. I knew about my husband and your wife. They weren't exactly subtle. It wasn't his first affair, you know, but she was his last. She sighed. I am sorry for your loss. But as you can see, I lost my husband too. Thank you, Mrs. Sterling, I said, my voice hard. But let's be clear. You knew your husband seduced my wife, turned her against me, against our daughter. By doing nothing, you're just as guilty. Now, wait a minute, Mr. Vance. I had no part in my husband's actions. We'll have to disagree, Mrs. Sterling. If you had done something, maybe your husband wouldn't have felt so free. Maybe my daughter would still have a mother. The fact that you knew will be very helpful when I go after his estate for the pain and suffering he caused my family. I got up and walked out. My lawyer said suing the estate was a long shot, but I didn't care. I wanted them to pay. Next, the firm. With Victor dead, my lawyer figured they'd fight us, until I produced a recording. The pen recorder had fortuitously caught a damning conversation in Chloe's office between Victor, Daniel Crane, and Chloe. They were discussing my resistance. Crane had offered his help, mentioning cops, prosecutors, judges who owed him favors, connections they could use to destroy me. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Miss Albright, said it might not be admissible in court, but it was potent leverage. She arranged a meeting with the senior partners, including Crane, vaguely implying it was about life insurance. We walked into the conference room. 7 senior partners, Crane among them. Condolences all around. Marcus Thorne, the managing partner, stood. Mr. Vance, we are all deeply sorry for your loss. We understand you've had difficulties with the insurance company. I'm pleased to say we've successfully intervened. He slid a check for $600,000 towards me. I pocketed it. Thank you, Mr. Thorne, but that's not why we're here. I met his gaze. We're here to give your firm the opportunity to settle a serious matter before we go public and file suit against each of you personally and your firm. You see, Mr. Thorne, your firm was complicit with Mr. Sterling in a plot to seduce my wife and to have me arrested, prosecuted, and jailed. Thorne shot to his feet, face purpling. How dare you come in here, accuse our firm of such crimes, tarnish the reputation of a fallen partner? We will not tolerate these false allegations. Mr. Thorne, I said calmly, we can leave right now. But I assure you, my allegations are true, and I have evidence. I suggest you ask Mr. Crane if I'm telling the truth. All eyes swiveled to Crane, who was sweating profusely, squirming. He said nothing. Miss Albright hit play on her phone. The voices of Crane and Sterling, plotting my destruction, filled the room. Thorne stood up quickly, exchanged a look with his partners. Mr. Vance, Miss Albright, if you'll allow us a moment to speak privately. 30 minutes later, Thorne returned alone. What are your demands, Mr. Vance? Your firm will pay me and my daughter $5 million, I said, or we sue. That recording and others will be made public. It's simple. Miss Albright tells me Mr. Crane will almost certainly be disbarred. The rest of you could face the same. The prosecutors and judges named? That could harm your business, jeopardize your licenses. Thorne asked for 2 days. Miss Albright stepped in. You have 2 days to agree, or everything comes out. 2 days later, Miss Albright called. They've agreed, Mike. $5 million. In exchange, we agree not to pursue Mr. Sterling's estate, and they will expel Mr. Crane from the firm under a moral turpitude clause, denying him 90% of his partnership share. I agreed. Chloe had been right about one thing. Her affair had, in a twisted way, secured our financial future. After the settlement, the dust began to settle. I focused on Lily. The scars were deep, but this was a turning point. The money created stability. We took trips, fished, hiked, things I'd neglected. One day at Lily's favorite burger joint, I met Olivia. A therapist, kind-hearted, strong. She'd been through her own pain. We connected, not just over shared sorrow, but over the strength to move forward. Slowly, I started laughing again. Olivia was patient, understanding. Lily adored her. We became a family. With Olivia, I didn't feel so alone. There was still love, still happiness, even after the darkness. In time, I learned to forgive. Not Chloe, not Victor, but perhaps forgive myself for the path I'd chosen. Forgive life for its cruelty. Holding on to the bitterness would only chain me to the past. I had a future again. A loving family, peace. And Lily, seeing her father happy, truly happy, blossomed. She grew up surrounded by love, knowing that even from a broken past, we'd found a way to heal.